Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for June 18th. June 18th is the 169th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 170th in leap years, with 196 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is Achillize. Achillize is a verb that means to harass or chase. The word is named after Achilles, a hero in Greek mythology. When his friend was killed by Hector, Achilles chased Hector around the wall of Troy 3 times. Of course, Achilles is better known for his heel, but his anger was so prominent that it was a popular subject for paintings, as in The Wrath of Achilles by Peter Paul Rubens, The Rage of Achilles by Giovanni Battista Tiepolo, and La Colère d'Achille by Leon Benuville. And with that, we're going to start with the year 1264, when the Parliament of Ireland met at Castledermot in County Kildare, the first definitively known meeting of this Irish legislature. On June 18, 1429, Joan of Arc led French forces in the defeat of the main English army at the Battle of Patay. This turned the tide of the 100 Years' War. Charles I was crowned King of Scots at St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh on June 18, 1633. On June 18, 1812, the United States Declaration of War upon the United Kingdom was signed by President James Madison, beginning the War of 1812. On June 18, 1815, the Battle of Waterloo resulted in the defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte, forcing him to abdicate the throne of France for the second and last time. Charles Darwin received a paper from Alfred Russel Wallace on June 18, 1858, that included nearly identical conclusions about evolution as Darwin's own, prompting Darwin to publish his theory. Susan B. Anthony was fined $100 on June 18, 1873 for attempting to vote in the 1872 presidential election. On June 18, 1900, Empress Dowager Cixi of China ordered all foreigners killed, including foreign diplomats and their families. This is the birthday of oil well firefighter Red Adair, born June 18, 1915. He became notable as an innovator in the highly specialized and hazardous profession of extinguishing and capping oil well blowouts, both land-based and offshore. He tackled more than 2,000 fires in the course of his career. He lived to the age of 89. Checker Taxi put its first taxi on the streets on June 18, 1923. Winston Churchill delivered his finest hour speech on June 18, 1940. This is the birthday of English singer, songwriter, and guitarist Paul McCartney of the Beatles, born May 18, 1942. Columbia Records introduced the Long Playing Record album in a public demonstration at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York City on June 18, 1948. The Lockheed F-117 Nighthawk, the first operational aircraft initially designed around stealth technology, made its first flight on June 18, 1981. Astronaut Sally Ride became the first American woman into space on June 18, 1983. There are and have been a number of list keepers tallying and scoring the popularity of songs over the years. Often when we talk about a song that was number one on a given date, we're most likely drawing from the Billboard Hot 100 list for the date. But the Hot 100 era officially began on Monday, August 4th, 1958. So what about songs that were popular before then? There were a variety of ways to gauge the popularity of a musical piece. In the very old days, one could count by how many copies of sheet music were sold for a particular song. When records came along, the number of records of songs could be counted, as in bestsellers in stores. As radio came around, the songs most played by disc jockeys could be counted. Songs most played in jukeboxes were also tallied. Eventually, an early version of the Hot 100 came along, and this combined a tabulation of sales, airplay, and jukebox play. And then, of course, the Billboard Hot 100 came along in 1958. That said, on June 18, 1956, there was a tie for first place between Elvis Presley's Heartbreak Hotel and a song called The Wayward Wind by Gogi Grant. Links in the description. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with the link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page that is called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, Parler, BitChute, and Getter. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.